What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Power Play with CJ. Today we're focusing on the Toronto Maple Leafs options with the 4th overall pick in the 2015 NHL entry draft. Really yet another year of rebuilding in Toronto. They'll look to move assets, and by assets I mean players, whether it's Phaneuf, Kessel, Lupul. I'm not even going to speculate with that. That's this whole separate entity entirely. But with this 4th pick, they have the ability to really get a game-changing prospect. Obviously, it's not the number 1 or 2 pick that would be most desirable in terms of Connor McDavid or Jack Eichel, but Noah Hanifin or Dylan Strome will be there. I think everything points to Strome, but if Noah Hanifin was there, they'd take up. It's like saying if it's steak and lobster and somebody eats the steak, you're going to eat the lobster. I mean, they're both great players. I think Arizona will look at Strome, will put a lot of consideration in him, might take him, but in all likelihood, I think Arizona takes Noah Hanifin. And then Strome, the hometown kid, the brother of the New York Islanders, rising star, I think can go to Toronto and be a big part of that rebuild. Kid from Mississauga, grew up rooting for the Leafs. Obviously, we've all seen that Instagram picture of him from the 2013 playoffs, rooting on the Leafs as they, fell short to the Bees in that game 7. But I think Strome has the potential to be everything they want in number 1 center, and the number 1 center that they've lacked since Matt Sundin left. I mean, Bozak's really not number 1, whatever way you shake it, and he could be out of town too. So there's really, this could be great for the Leafs in terms of Natmy, a guy that has size, that has great offensive abilities, led the OHL in scoring as a draft-eligible forward, which doesn't happen. And, you can play the, Connor McDavid. Well, McDavid missed a good portion of the season. So to have, this kid that really was able to step up in his absence and play such a, have such a great season would be, beneficial to the Leafs' long-term void at center. And then I think they'll look at Mitch Marner. I think Marner slides to the 5th pick, and that's fine. I think they're both great players. I think Strome is more of what fits. Strome better fits what Toronto's trying to do. I mean, I think you look at him and Nylander, going forward. Those are 2 pretty good building blocks up front. And if they're able to move some pieces around the board, get some more draft picks, maybe get a young defenseman or 2 to complement Morgan Riley, I think it's really better days ahead in Toronto. I think if Strome lives up to his potential, I think he's looking at Nanze Kopitar type forward, where he's a big center that plays in all situations, that's as good defensively as he is offensively, and I think it's right about the right time to start the Strome Comes Home campaign, because I think he's going to be great for Toronto, and I think the Leafs will benefit having. It's been a long time since there's been a homegrown star in Toronto, and I know he had to leave, played in Erie. Obviously, I met him, great kid. I can talk about that till I'm blue in the face, but I think he'll be a great fit. And if Hanifin were to fall there, you get Hanifin. We'll look at Marner, sure, but it comes down to those 2. And they get a good consolation prize one way or the other because they're both phenomenal hockey players, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what Strome can do wherever he ends up. But I think going to Toronto will be a pretty cool story. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's like an episode of the Power Play with CJ on the Toronto Maple Leafs options with the 4th pick in the 2014 NHL entry draft. Stay tuned for more episodes throughout the playoffs and beyond. Later, guys.